Americans, our system is broken. It's up to us to get it fixed. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bubba Line for Sunday, January the 8th. And, well, we do have a broken system. You can say whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want, but the system is broken. And if you need evidence and proof of that, just look at what happened in the vote for the new Speaker of the House, McCarthy. And again, I don't know if he's worth it or good or bad, but I know that it should never have taken the length of time to get him elected if he was the man or the guy or the person that should be there. I can only imagine what it cost us for him to get elected to that job. All right, because remember, government produces nothing but debt, whether they be Republican or Democrat or anything. They create nothing but debt. They create no product. They create issues because, of course, they've got the American taxpayer to continue to pay, which is why we get the benefit and the privilege of paying for all the illegal aliens that come into this country, because they don't create money either. They ain't paying to get in here. They ain't coming in here legally. We are paying for their health care and for everything else to get them here, not to mention the amount of employee costs it costs to have people watching the border. Okay, so we all know that based on, for example, the omnibus spending bill that just came off, okay, for $1.8 trillion, at what Americans have to pay to make all this work. Now, are you happy sending money to Ukraine? Are you happy sending money all over the world except for here? Okay. Are you excited about the potential of the Great Reset, in which if you're anything but an oligarch or of the extremely wealthy, the upper 1%, you will be nothing more than a pile of shit in the rest of the garbage? Okay? Because that's where we are headed if we don't do something soon. Okay? You can tell me whatever you want. You can tell me whatever you think. But at the end of the day, whether you be a Republican, whether you be a Democrat, whether you be a Libertarian, we as Americans, because you are an American first, okay? And if you still believe in liberty and justice and freedom, okay, if you still remember the Superman show back in the 60s, Justice for All, then you better wake up, because this is getting worse and worse. It's like a nightmare that continues to get worse and worse. And of course, as we hear how good things are in this country, Amazon is laying off another 18,000 people. Okay. JP Morgan is laying off people. Okay. The layoffs are starting to increase. And of course, on Friday, we had a jobs number that was, I don't know, it was a beat from what I understand, but they're calling it a weak jobs number. But in the meantime, the markets exploded, and we'll get more into the markets, but the markets exploded on the number. And so what does that really mean? Well, what it really means is that traders recognize that if we get enough bad data, okay, that the Fed will go back to cheaper money. Now, I don't see that happening anytime soon. One thing we know for sure, as I've told you for years, the Fed is ignorant and full of morons, okay, that have no regard for the average and don't understand how a true economy works. There's nothing wrong with having a true central bank that is not a true criminal, okay, that is really printing money that we don't have, knowing that they have the taxpayers to pay for the bullshit that they create. Okay? So we've seen credit card debt has swelled. Now, again, the number is immaterial because, of course, inflation. But what we do know is that a majority of credit card holders are at limit, which means they're never getting out and they're going to be paying usury rates. And, of course, all of you who cheered those Black Friday record sales numbers, okay? And I told you right then and there, bullshit, those numbers were garbage. And now the official tally is out. And of course, based on everything else, we dropped 3.4%. And if you believe that, I think we probably dropped more. But again, the official number is 3.4% dropped. And of course, it's led by a lower earning power. Because if we go back to the jobs number, what the jobs number really said to you is that more people have to work part-time and more multiple jobs because we have lost more than 2 million jobs since last May. Okay? So again, you can talk about it any way you want. You can look at it any way you want, but the debt relief industry is the only expanding industry we have right now. And why is that expanding? Because, of course, once you get yourself so deep into debt, now you look for those scam commercials that people tell you they can get you out or help you with your credit score, which they really can't. Okay? I mean, I love these new commercials with the, you make a phone call, you do something, you fart, and you get a higher credit score. But we should not be cheering a weaker jobs report. Okay? We should be understanding how dangerously close we are to a bigger issue. Okay, and that is really more the overall problem. Okay, you think that things are going well, and of course, then we have to look at the overall. We have to look at the overall unions and other things that have destroyed this country as well. We have a system that does not want to educate our system. In fact, in the teachers union, the teachers come first, the students and the parents come dead last by a long shot. Okay, why are we allowing tenure? Okay, why are we allowing shitty teachers to continue to be teaching when they really don't want to teach anything? They want to collect their paycheck and collect their pension. Okay, we have a system that teaches our children to be stupid because we're raising a generation of morons. And I think that this is something that we as Americans have to realize, that I'm not telling you to teach them to be left or right. I really could give a rat's ass. Okay, what I do care about is that liberally, you want whatever you want to do is okay with me in the privacy of your own home or with what you want to do with your body. I have no issue with that. But I do not believe that government should have such a free hand at spending because they can depend on the American taxpayer. Okay, and these unions, although were very, very valuable back in the day, because it really was to affect child labor and things like that. Now they become an abuse of power, because you as a union member pay so much in dues that the balance could certainly become better. Okay, and really what it does is cause higher prices for everybody. Okay, but we've got vehicle sales. You remember when I told you last year? The sales were flying, and I told you that this is almost the end, and here we are. We have now reached probably the end, okay, of the car sales, the big used cars and everything going bananas. Why? Because there's no money. Because people aren't working. It's pretty simple, okay. But I think one of the big stories of the week is now Canada, okay, I guess wants to become an island on their own. They have banned the sale of real estate if you're not a Canadian. Okay. Now, again, listen, I wish we would do that here. Okay. Again, I don't like a foreign enterprise involved in my country. Okay. I don't want, other people having control and say so over what we do. I think that we have to, wake up and realize that the government, either side, because we know both sides do not have our best interest at heart, I think we have to recognize that it is time for us to actually stand up. I mean, there's talk about what they're going to do with Social Security, and Social Security is a joke. Okay, in fact, I'm going to take mine, even though I'm going to have to pay an enormous amount of taxes on it, but I just want to get it out because I'm irritated at the way that we handle the financial responsibility, the fiscal responsibility of this country, because we don't have a government problem or a money problem. We have a spending problem. And we allow the government to spend way too much money, which makes absolutely no sense, of money that we don't have, to continue to borrow. And certainly, if you're spending it in this country, trying to fix the roads, fix the bridges, fix the infrastructure, help our homeless and poor, I got no problem. But for me to see our money go out of this country for no reason, to me, is just plain old stupid. But I guess that's what happens when you have a moron as a president. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to stop out here for a break and be back with our market report right after this. Well, kids, Happy New Year. It's always great to be back with you. And, of course, we have our great sponsors. And, we have a couple of brokerage houses that are our sponsors here. And, I have vetted them. Listen, I have brokerage accounts all over the place. But where I spend my money and my time is for equities and options, it's Tradier Brokerage. I mean, they're $10 a month. Why would I save over $100,000 a year in commission. Why would I not go? Why would I go anywhere else? Plus the fact that we can automate our portfolio models, okay, at no charge to you. And if you're a hedger, we can automate your hedging portfolio at a licensing fee to us. Tradier doesn't care one way or the other. It's $10 a month flat. Okay. And for our letter of direction and futures trading and our day trader's dream, Capital Trading Group, there's nobody better. I'm a big believer in service, and they give you service. Okay. Yeah. Do I pay a touch more than I could pay? Yeah, of course I do. But they're not anywhere out of line in what they charge. And in fact, I would tell you that their letter of direction trading is probably half of what anybody else would charge you for the same thing. But that's Capital Trading Group, and their links are both floating on the sides here. And of course, our high school program, this may be the last year, because I cannot keep spending my money and having people help donate to a program that I can't even get the teachers to teach, because of course it's too much work for them. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. We're going to get back to our market report right now in segment 2. Let's go right there now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 8th of September. It'd be nice to say 8th of January, 2023, and Happy New Year. And, markets had a pretty sloppy week. Basically still stuck in overall consolidation. I don't see anything that's too crazy. We saw on Friday what some are describing as a short squeeze, and I would argue that. And of course, I will argue it on Monday night, tomorrow night on our call. But I don't think it was a short squeeze. I think it was just a market that's stuck in consolidation. In the meantime, I think the overall trend is lower. I think we're going dramatically lower, and we are still short the 4 major indices. And they didn't go, it's not like they went anywhere for the week. I mean, they were slightly higher for the week. It wasn't really a big deal. Okay. But the markets, one of the things that is still a concern is volumes are still pretty light. Now, as I told you and warned you, that there was no guarantee that the minute we came back for the new year that it would get busy. But I do think that we will start to see this week, going forward, that we will start to see more business. In the meantime, all 4 major indices were slightly higher for the week. We are short for all 4 across the board, but it is of no concern. We'll see. We're really setting up for is a major move in one direction or the other, and I don't think it can be up. Listen, I could be wrong, but I do think it will be lower. In the meantime, the dollar, which we no longer trade, we would be short if we did trade it, but we no longer trade it. And the dollar had did find some support and bounced a bit. The euro currency, just the opposite, found some resistance, but we are long. But there, we give it the dollar index. It's just too hard to trade, and too many can't get access to it unless you want to pay the COMEX, which screw them. I wouldn't pay them a dime. Okay, Bitcoin is stuck in that 15,000 to 18,000 level. Nothing has really changed there. We're still believers. We still think that there's hope for Bitcoin and for the crypto world. In the bonds and notes, they had a little bit of a pop for the week. We're short. Again, it makes absolutely no sense. But if you go back now to Friday's rally, that was based on that maybe assumed a bad number, which means that the Fed may drop rates, hence bonds go higher. But I think that, of course, rates are going higher, and I think the 10-year gets to 6% this year, so we'll see where that takes us. The metals had a nice little week, and gold is now starting to break out. Gold broke above now 1860, closed near 1870. Silver is pretty close to breaking out, and platinum is now running. Now, we are long gold, we are long silver. We would be long platinum, except we don't trade it because it's just not liquid enough. But I think that the metals look pretty solid, and of course, I've said this for months that you should all have some representation, and we would look to be some buyers here. Copper, we're long, and it's still trying to fight out a consolidation. Okay, that's the bottom line. It's really not going anywhere, and although we are long, I can't see it going much further. But again, I'm not going to tell you that it can't. Natural gas got hammered and is under $4 now. We're still short. And crude oil got hammered as well, and we are going to reverse. Now, again, depending if you reverse at night, like tonight or tomorrow, I'll be reversing tomorrow with Capital Trading Group because they do all my trading on the fall. But we will be reversing to short, and I'm not so thrilled at being short here because there's something rotten in Denmark, as they say. There's some funny business going on. There's no reason these prices should be this low, but they are. Look, we're not going to argue the price, but there's something going on here. And remember, if you go back into, crude oil used to be $9 a barrel, so we'll see. And of course, in the grain markets, grains are under a little pressure this week. I had a farmer email me or message me and tell me that listen, they can't feed these cattle. They got to go to slaughter faster because they can't afford to feed them. The whole chain of events is very ugly. In the meantime, the grains were down a little bit for the week. We're going to reverse corn and wheat tonight, which does not thrill me. Okay, we were long, or will we get short? I don't want to reverse them, but they will be reversed. And soybeans will be still continue to maintain long, and of course in the protein complex, we are still long fats and feeders and short hogs. But I don't think in either case there's a huge move coming in either direction. Okay, I think you've got just a market that will kind of trade based on, first of all, what crude oil is doing, because that's another big cost for people. In the softs, cocoa, we're long, and it was a little bit higher for the week. Cotton, we're still short, a little bit lower for the week. Sugar, we're short, and it was lower. OJ was a little higher for the week. We're long, and coffee got hammered again, and we are, of course, still short. But the big picture is that don't expect it suddenly to get busy or suddenly to go one direction or the other. Okay, we are going to break out of this tight range. This is going on over a year of a range of wide sweeping congestion. We will break out when, I have no idea, but it will break out in one direction or the other, and we will be prepared for it. Okay, but until further notice, it is still not time to be aggressive. Be careful, be passive, pick your spots. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. This was the market report. We're going to step out here for our break and come back with, of course, my commentary and a couple of football picks. But football this weekend is, there's a lot of games depending on others. So we'll be right back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line. What up, kids? Again, just as you know, I'm going to talk about our brokers. And the reason I talk about them is because, A, I'd like to save you money. Okay, that's the bottom line. I have no benefit. I want you to save money. And why should you overpay for something you get for a lot less? I just don't think that, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But Trader Your Brokerage, and again, they're on this side. Capital Trading Group on the side, and our high school program on the bottom. But again, these have been very vetted for me. I've got 20 brokers, okay, and I'm trying to help you be better, save money, and be able to help do a better job at what you do. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line, and of course, my commentary and a couple of football selections we'll think about, and of course, obviously, at the Mar Hamlin deal. So let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line right now. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, January the 8th, 2023. Happy New Year, everybody. And, I don't know. As I watch the McCarthy hearings, well, I didn't watch them. I mean, I read bits and pieces. Let's be honest. I don't really give a crap about this news, but I know what's going on. But this just shows you how broken our government is. This just shows you how the haters of this country are taking over. And you can continue to defend it, and you continue to go with the old adage that we are the best country in the world, which we are. But the distance traveled between where we were at the best country versus is narrowing. And I don't want it to narrow. I want America to be independent. I want us to be in control. I don't want to be controlled by China, Saudi Arabia, and others. I want the United States of America to be the boss. Okay? I don't want to be beholden to anybody. I want to prove to the world that we are self-sufficient and that we are happy to help, but we don't need shit from anybody. And I'm getting sick and tired of my tax dollars going to all of the places in the world except to where they should go. Okay? And I'm sick and tired of the amount of spending that this government is allowed to do and the destruction of this country without fixing shit. Okay? So, again, whether you be a Republican or a Democrat, you cannot be happy with the political system. Okay? But most of you will stick your frickin' heads in the sand and ignore the problems because you're okay. But are you really okay? That's the question you have to ask yourself. In the meantime, it is football night in America. Okay, it is the last week before we go to the playoffs, but what a hit for DeMar Hamlin. So happy to hear that he's doing well. So that's a great story. But of course, on a shitty weekend, and when most things have been decided, you've got a shitty card. Okay, I would say to you that the Lions would be my play against the Packers, just plus the points. But it really is going to depend on action that happens earlier. I would say to you that any wagers that you make today, okay, be very small and more of pizza money. In the meantime, this is the first Bubba's Bottom Line of 2023. Have a happy, healthy New Year, prosperous. I know we're going to have a big year. I'm very excited for the year. And to all of you, happy, healthy, prosperous New Year, and let's make America great again. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you later.